So we're with Mike Lawson once again, part 2. Part 1 was never unveiled because of a Zoom error here. So, just to provide context again, just tell the world, tell the audience what you do.
All right, hi guys. First things first, thank you for having me. I don't know why he decided to pick me. Then again, but I'm Michael Lawson. I'm from Ghana, and I run a design agency, a branding design agency with a co-founder of mine, Anayao. And we've been doing this for close to 3 years. So yeah, that's basically what I do.
Yeah, I remember you were telling me beforehand that that the trends that you get from the trends that you get, they trickle down. So for example, you do your market research, you see what's popping in the US, UK, all these developed countries and whatnot, and you see that in Ghana, they don't really use those trends, right? Instagram Reels is not a thing in Ghana yet. You guys primarily use Facebook, right? And here in the US, TikTok and Instagram. Facebook is something towards the older, I guess, like between 30 and 50-year-old demographic, but in Ghana it's completely different. So just to get a perspective, let's run back. And how did you get into the design space, the branding design space?
All right. So, we'll come back to the trends bit. We'll come back to it, but to give a little context to how I started this design thing, it started with so I was legit walking with a friend of mine, right? And I saw he went for he was a photographer, so he went to take pictures and he was editing them in his house. And I legit walked into his house like he's my neighbor. So I walked into his house, probably going to, I don't know, get food or something. And I saw him on Photoshop editing the pictures. And I was like, bro, what are you doing? And he was like, oh, he's editing pictures. And he showed me what he does. And I realized it was so cool. I said, I've got to learn this. And so it started from there. And then I discovered graphic design. And I realized that, I could actually make really cool things on this app as well. That's Photoshop. So, I was doing it on the side, doing a few logos here and there, a few flyers. And then a friend of mine noticed I was kind of good. And he reached out to me and said, bro, I could actually get you clients. We could make some small buck out of this. We can make some small money out of it. And I said, sure, why not? So then he would always go out there, since he's the charismatic guy, and he'd go out there and bring all the clients, bring all the people who are interested in getting some design stuff done. And he take his cuts and I take my cuts. And that's how we were running things for a long time. And that's essentially how Brainstorm Africa was founded. That's how the company was started anyway.
So were you in high school, college when you first, did design, use Photoshop?
High school kid. I think first year in high school.
And what did you use to learn Photoshop? Because here people do use Photoshop, but a lot of people also use Canva. And in your content, you have a lot of carousels, which drives a lot of engagement on Instagram. So what have you used Canva? Because that's kind of like what the latest thing that people have been using, or is it just Photoshop?
Yeah. I realized people have been using Canva. I think I've used it before, but that was in the case where I hadn't paid for my Adobe Creative Cloud. I think I hadn't paid for a month or so. And so I couldn't use Photoshop. But I had to do some design work. So I decided to use Canva. But I've been using Photoshop since the very beginning. I just got it right from the beginning because a friend paid for it for me. And yeah, so I've been using Photoshop throughout. And I feel like it's for me. I really love Photoshop, to be honest.
Yeah.
Compared to the rest.
And I remember you told me that in Ghana, there's actually a huge entrepreneurial community, right? And, you say people, they have their own e-commerce shops and you help them, but you also help, local shops because they don't know too much about marketing. And that's where you guys come into play, right? So you guys do a lot of local SEO for those restaurants and businesses, right?
Yeah, we do. Because most of these businesses are run by the older generation, the adults in the biz. And here in Ghana, they are not too tech savvy. So they don't really spend too much time online to find out what exactly is going on, especially for Gen Z, right? So we come in and we're we know where they are hanging out. We know how to create content for those people. and you're trying to get those people. So we're going to work together here. And that's about like what we do. So we just try and make them understand that the context they are in might not necessarily give them the clients or give them the customers that they are looking for. Yeah.
So for Brainstorm Africa, because you and your partner, especially you, focus on the brand design aspect, do you also work on the advertisement space as well, or is it just the creative itself?
I mean, I know how to do everything, right?
Okay.
I dabbled in everything a bit. Right now we have a few people helping us, even with the creative bits. So I don't necessarily do a lot of creative jobs, because we have people on the team now who can do a lot of creative. If it has to do with photography, motion design, graphic design, we have people for that. And to be honest, some are better than me. Like they are better than me, and that's okay, right? But I'm doing more of the advertising, marketing, sales, like the things that actually get the clients into the business. Yeah.
Yeah. And I remember you told me that for Brainstorm Africa, it's important to show the results, right? And that's what businesses want. And it can be very tough for people having their own agency, because say they want SEO or they want to drive results. Let's talk about SEO for a second. That takes a while. It takes like 6 months to get SEO and get results from that. And a lot of business owners could be impatient because it's 6 months and they're paying you a retainer, and they can't see anything, right? But if it's for advertisements, for direct conversions, you can see a direct ROI. You can show them the analytics, and
exactly.
Right. And you mentioned that it's important for your agency to kind of have testimonials to show that your service is actually legit, right?
Exactly. I truly believe testimonials with results do a lot for your business. Like, I truly believe that.
So because if you were to split the businesses that you worked with, is it 50-50 in terms of local businesses and 50% e-commerce, or how is it mainly? What sort of businesses do you work with?
Okay, so we work with a lot of e-commerce. So I'll probably say 60-40.
Okay.
In Ghana, like the companies we've worked for is more 60-40, because 60 would encompass personal brands, e-commerce stores, like people who sell but don't necessarily have brick and mortar, don't necessarily have a building. But we have worked with a couple of clients who have buildings. So like we worked on maybe a creative, maybe a video or a photo shoot, or we worked on some designs for them, maybe a new menu, a new billboard design.
Okay.
And that's what we've done mostly for the brick and mortar side of things.
So in terms of sales here, I feel this can apply to any entrepreneur around the world as they use Facebook ads, right? What's your workflow like? If you were to make a block diagram of how you make a Facebook ad, for example, you do a general ad and then you retarget the audience, especially for, say, a local shop, a local retail store. How do you kind of go about that? Do you have like specific strategies, any golden nuggets that you have about creating a Facebook ad and getting conversions or leads?
So for me, my golden nugget is retargeting, because I feel like those ones have a better chance of like buying from you, because they've obviously seen your content before. They probably visited your website. They probably follow you, so they know what you're about. They've probably looked for you. They've consumed your content. Sometimes we can even retarget people who have watched a certain video that we posted, maybe like 50% of the video, and then we retarget those like that. We make content for that specific demographic as well. And so that's my first nugget. Like retargeting is the way. Another thing that really helps is contextual ads. Like I really believe in this. I think it was Gary V. I learned this from like a couple of months ago, and he was talking about how you should create content and targets like really specific. So you should create content.
Yo, my mic.
For the audience, not.
I was gonna say, no, yeah, the last 10 seconds we were kind of cut off. But you're talking about.
It looks like I was getting a call. Sorry.
Oh, sorry, no worries.
Sorry about that. So I was thinking of so I said I learned this skill from Gary V, where we create content for the audience. You don't like create content and just throw it to any audience. So like you'd be really, really contextual. So if you're targeting 45-year-olds living in, we have a town here called East Legon. If you are targeting 45-year-olds in that town, you create a piece of content with an ad probably saying that, hey, are you a 55-year-old? Hey, are you a 45-year-old looking for blah, 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 blah? You should probably check out Mike's restaurant or Mike's bar and grill. So then when they see that, like when someone pops up, and when you pop up like that and someone sees like, bro, are you talking to me? Like it's really, really specific. And so that has also really helped for us. So especially if we are having, what's it called? Let's say there's a restaurant and they're having a Valentine's Day special. And there's a discount or something, and we're running ads. If we're running ads on college students in a relationship on Facebook, is really easy. Like it's really easy. You just pop up in their face and say, bro, are you in college? You can even target the guys and say, bro, are you in college looking to take your girl out for this Valentine's Day? You should definitely check out so and so. And it works. Like it works. It really, really does work.
And how often do you see people always say retargeting is really important, right? But say you retarget that audience and they don't get, they're not a warm lead or they're not a hot lead and they don't make a purchase, for example. How many times do you retarget that person to make a purchase? Because from what I heard about sales is that when you pitch something or you show a product or service, oftentimes he or she is not going to buy it, right? Second time you do it, you have a higher chance. The third and fourth time you retarget them, they get so familiar with their content that they subconsciously are really receptive and, they're willing to pay for your product or service. So how many times do you retarget?
I think it's like 4. I think our magic number is 4 or 5.
Okay.
But I mean, it depends. Like it really, really depends. I truly believe in nurturing your audience. So, I mean, your first ad or first content they see shouldn't necessarily even be, in the case where we are nurturing leads, shouldn't even necessarily be a sale off the bat. Like, hey, get this for $50 off, or no, it shouldn't be like that. But you should probably lead with like giving them something. So probably a really fun piece of content, and then they see it. If they consume like 50% of it, then you take that audience, put them into the next audience, and then you give them another piece of content. You do this over time, slowly warming them up so that they find out about you. By stage 2, stage 3, then you can start dropping in the sales. Stage 4, you should know those who are buying and those who are not. And so I mean, it's how good your creative ad is, how good your ad copy is. There are so many factors to what makes it a success, but I definitely think that's like multiple times is definitely the way to go.
Okay, so you can't go for the kill right away. You kind of have to nurture your audience, warm them up, and then make that pitch, right? So in that case, then you can't be afraid if you're running your own e-commerce shop or you're working for an agency or you're a business owner. You can't be afraid to spend marketing dollars because if you're going to retarget 4 times, those 2 or 3 times, maybe you won't get any conversions, but it's just warming up those leads. And then on the 4th one, you can make that pitch for your product and services. So point is, first time around, even if you don't see any results, any conversions, that's okay because you're getting data, you're getting results, you're seeing what works, what doesn't, and you need to repurpose that content or retarget, right, those people. So you can't be afraid to spend money when it comes down to marketing, I guess.
It's true. And it makes sense, right? Because people that are looking for instant return on investment always get frustrated, especially with their ads, right? Because they feel like, man, let me just boost this Instagram post. I should get like 5 sales. And you boost it and nobody knows, but you have tons of people visiting your profile. All you don't know is that these people visiting your profile are like, they know you now, right? So you could target another piece of content with like to hit those particular people who visited your page through the first piece of content you dropped. So I mean, yes, like you shouldn't be too worried about the amount you spend. Like it really, really helps if you are patient as hell.
Okay. And I always feel that there's a lot of variables in the ad. Of course, you can have, first and foremost, the ad
Mm-hmm.
campaign itself, right? What are you going to do? Are you
Mm-hmm.
going to, is it an engagement ad? Is it conversion based? Or are you getting leads and whatnot? The second thing is the creative. Is your creative good or
Yeah.
not? And are
Mm-hmm.
you doing A/B testing? And then if that's
Mm-hmm.
good or not, you have to see if what is it, your landing page or your closing page is good or not. Because if you have a good copy or good advertisement, good marketing campaign, but your sales page is not there for that final
Mm-hmm.
button to purchase that product or service, then it's going to be hard to tell. The point is, there's so many variables, and as a marketer, I think you have to know the pinpoint or the exact point at which there's a fault, right? So
Yeah,
because
exactly.
if you're seeing a lot of engagement, a lot of likes, comments, all that type of stuff, but no one's buying your product or service, then it can be your landing page. So what do you guys do to kind of analyze that situation to see, okay, this isn't working? Because then again, there's so many variables.
Yeah, so there are so many variables involved. So I think the best way, which I truly believe, is to look at the conversion at every point in time. So sure, your creative your ad like creative is doing well. You're getting the profile visits, everything, or landing page visits, or website clicks, or whatever you're using, and nobody. Imagine if nobody is buying. Then we know the problem is not from the ads. Like the conversion rate shows that people are going into you're hitting your page, but nobody's buying anything. So then, I mean, the problem could be either the landing page is bad, or your the quality of the people you're targeting. Maybe the people you're targeting are not even your like supposed to be in there in the first place. Like imagine if I wasn't interested in a Chelsea I think you're a Chelsea fan. I'm not
Yeah.
interested in a Chelsea what's it called, landing page for a jersey, and I for some reason end up on that landing page. I'm never going to buy it. Like I'm never going to. But for you, you think I'm interested in your business, but it could be bad traffic or then a bad like landing page. Yeah. So there are so many variables, but most of the time it falls within these two categories.
Okay. And if it is the landing page, and because you're working with business owners,
Mm-hmm.
uh, do you have to go in the back end of their site to kind of fix it up? Because maybe these guys, these business owners, they have some guy who does the website
Mm-hmm.
for them, and it can be kind of difficult sometimes to access that person. But in this case, do you have full autonomy of their website, to really change that landing page if you really do have to?
Yeah. So some of these campaigns that would be run, like most of the time we do the landing pages as well. So
Okay.
like we design them. So most of the time, if there's a problem with the conversion, most of the time it's from our side. But if the client has a landing page, everything's set, and we're getting them the traffic, and we tell them that no, the problem isn't the traffic because the traffic is good. This is good. People who are genuinely interested in your products. We've retargeted them several times. But then we tell them that these are the numbers showing that they are hitting your page, but they are not buying. So then the
Okay.
problem comes that, so now you have to check it out. It's either we help you or you get your guy to do it. And like once you hit them with the numbers, with the facts, they know that nah, there's like they've got me. Like I have to do something about it. So most of the time it's an upsell. So then we end up taking over their landing page, doing it for them, improving it, working on the copy, the call to actions, all of that. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, that's about it.
And for the landing page, here in the US at least, everyone
Mm-hmm.
raves about ClickFunnels. But do you make custom landing pages for the websites of the small business owners or the clients that you have, or how is that?
So I mean, I've used all. I've used every single thing I could think of. I think I've used Mailchimp before. I've used ClickFunnels. I've used ClickFunnels. Right now, what I'm using is Unbounce, but it's slightly expensive compared to ClickFunnels, I think. But it gets the job done. Like I feel like the average designer can actually do a really, really amazing landing page without necessarily knowing how to code.
Okay.
So then you could do that really well. So if you're looking for a landing page builder, I think you should look at Unbounce. I don't know, it's rather not popular, but I think they give you this 2-week or 1 week free trial. So you could try it out and see if it works for you well. But yeah, I know people really love ClickFunnels, but I don't know, I sway more towards Unbounce when I'm doing these things.
I mean, I'm not too familiar with ClickFunnels and Unbounce, but I just know that you can use them as landing pages and people get tons of sales. But from your perspective, what's the real difference between Unbounce and ClickFunnels? Is the pricing or?
I think pricing is in favor of ClickFunnels, but Unbounce, as I said, Unbounce, the only reason I really love it is because like I don't necessarily even know how to code, right? We have a tech guy, a developer on the team, and he handles everything, Alute. So I don't really know much about coding. I don't know much about the languages. I mean, I know them, so I can sell them. But if it comes to actually doing them, I have someone on the team who does them. So Unbounce for me was like, it gave me this platform to be as creative as I can, because you can literally design something on Photoshop with everything. And then you go to Unbounce and you realize it's just all a matter of dragging and dropping and putting content here, typing the copy here. It makes everything so simple. So I think maybe it's a personal preference, but I'm sure other people would have the reasons why they prefer ClickFunnels. And to be frank, I didn't even really use ClickFunnels that long, to be frank. Like I didn't use it that long. I think I used it for like 2 months or 3 months, and then I just found Unbounce, and then I just swayed.
Okay. And do you do any work with email marketing, like email marketing campaigns for businesses?
Currently, we don't run any for any of our clients right now. What we do is for ourselves. Like we have this newsletter, a weekly newsletter that we send out. If there's an update to our blog, we send it out. Like we just grow our email base, like our email lists slowly over time. And once in a while, we offer an ebook, a template or anything just to like get leads coming. But we're working on getting a few more freebies, if I could say, like a whole pack of them, so that when people hit our website, they'd have a more compelling reason to like drop their email in, and then we'll just nurture them over time. Yeah. So we do it for ourselves, but we don't have any clients that we currently work with in that regard.
All right. So yeah, tell us why, having an email list is so important.
So to be honest, a few months ago, I didn't believe in email lists. Like, okay, maybe a year ago or 2 years, maybe a year ago, not up to 2 years ago, I didn't believe in them because I felt that there were many email lists where, or email, how do I even say, like you subscribe to so many email lists and then they just spam you. Like they spam you all the way to the, like, bro, and it just fills your mail, right? So I felt like it wasn't really effective. But then I found a few mailing lists that actually do really well. Like I found myself always opening the mails to read whoever had to say in that mail. And then I researched about it a bit, and then I realized that, bro, it's actually, you have direct access to these people regardless, because mail is not going anywhere. Like mail is not going anywhere compared to if 3 years from now, Snapchat closes down and then all your friends on Snapchat are redundant. If Instagram goes dead today, you don't have anything. But email addresses and email is like, that's the common currency among all of them. So it's like, that's one thing that I truly believe will take a long time before it's replaced. So I definitely think building an email list is leverage, is an asset for your business. Because if you launch a product and you have, let's say, 10,000 people in your email list, you know that if you launch your product, you're going to have 10,000 people receive information that you've launched a product, compared to if maybe you have 10,000 followers on Instagram. If you post, not 10,000, not all of them are going to see. It's going straight to just a percentage of them, right? And that's just how social media is. But for email, you legit reach all the emails that you have. So I think it's definitely worth the investment.
Yeah, I hear people say that email marketing is archaic, that's dead, but it's true what you say. You know, it can be your baseline, and it's an asset because you have direct access to emails. And, you know, social media can close down, the organic reach can go down. And a lot of people have been complaining about the fact that yes, they have 100,000 followers, but when they have a post, only 10,000 will see them. And now you have to pay to play. You have to pay to play just so that your actual followers can see that content. So that's kind of crazy. That's why people are upset. Another thing that's kind of new that I've been hearing about, and a lot of entrepreneurs are using as well, is SMS marketing. If you have access to everyone's phones, you know, you can text them. I think there's an app called the community app, and you know, you kind of just send them a message. Say I have the community app, and I have 1,000 phone numbers. With a simple text message, I can access everyone's number and send them a message right away, and everyone checks your messages. You know, if you have that notification, everyone checks that, right? So it's definitely something that people are using here. I don't know if in Ghana it's a popular thing. Right now it's kind of trendy here.
Yeah, it has been working here for a while. Then again, there are so many spams. Like there are so many spams that come through. So many mix up with the mobile network. Some of them feel like the mobile networks sell your numbers to some companies, and then they just blast you with information. So some people get spammed, but some businesses use SMS marketing, like because in the case where you order a pizza from a local pizza pub or something, and they deliver, your number goes into their system straight. So if they're running any promotion, anything, they just blast it out to your number as well. And because you know them, you would read it. You would read it and say, oh, sure, they're running a promo next week. Maybe I should stop by. So yeah, I think it works. Because, I mean, you can't ignore a notification, especially an SMS compared to an email.
Oh yeah, for sure. And I have so many emails, and I can delete all of them. Then the next day I have 100 more emails. It can be pretty annoying, but people still, people still prove me wrong, saying that, because I was on the same boat, thinking that email marketing is nonsense. And I can't say anything because I've never used it before. But after watching some videos, people, they get a lot of sales through their e-commerce store. I mean, it's not the majority of their sales, but it's a good portion of it, and that always helps, right? So if you have more nets to cast to make revenue, then why not, right?
Yeah,
and it's an asset, and it's an asset at the end of the day. So you said that you have a team at Brainstorm Africa that does the branding, the content creation, and of course you have to focus on what you like, what you're better at. So do you think that for any entrepreneur out there, once you work by yourself and once you start making money, you're getting some cash flow, that it's important to hire someone and then focus on what you want to work on? Because of course you got to know everything in the business, right? But eventually, once you hire people to do the work for you, you want to focus on what you're good at.
Yeah. So currently we are even scaling. So we are scaling, still trying to systemize all our job descriptions, like have them down so that we know if we're hiring, what you're going to take care of. And yeah, so I truly believe this. Like I truly did. I read this book during quarantine. That was like March, April. Probably you guys can look for it. The E-Myth Revisited by Michael Gerber. I don't know if you've read it. But
I've heard about it.
Yeah, it's a really amazing book for entrepreneurs looking to scale. And what Michael was saying in this book was, he was saying that if you're running a business, there are basically three people running. I think it's the technician, the manager, and then the entrepreneur. And if you are the sole, like you're the only person in your business, you're doing all three. The technician, who is like managing like doing the actual work of the business. Like if you're selling pancakes, you are making the pancakes, and the manager is in charge of managing the person making the pancakes. So then you are making sure that you're like, so you are doing the pancakes and you're also managing yourself. And the entrepreneur is also is the person who is more or less like trying to grow the business, like making sure that processes are smooth, looking for business, like trying to grow the business as an entrepreneur. And he says that when you don't take like the entire, when you don't, how do I say this? When you don't have someone to replace you as the technician and to replace you as the manager, so you could do 100% entrepreneurial job, you are not necessarily an entrepreneur. It's a really interesting book. So then he was talking about how you should hire, and your goal as a business owner should be to hire people to take over the business so you could legit make money in your sleep. Like that's the whole role of a business. And yeah, so that's like the mindset I have for it. So you shouldn't be looking at doing what you like, because essentially you still be an employee, right? But if you're looking to be a business, like be a business owner, an entrepreneur, you set up a business that's running, like people are running the systems that you have created, and you can just look at it over, like have an overview of the whole thing. That's when you've actually achieved like full entrepreneurship, compared to if you are still making the pancakes. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I feel a lot of entrepreneurs, they start out as solopreneur, so they have a business by themselves, and then once they scale, they can either do two things: either they buy stuff, material stuff, or they can reinvest in your business. Now, if you were to reinvest in your business, it can be very hard because you can be very egotistical. You might want to have things done a certain way, and of course, you have to be a good leader, a good communicator, to tell that person what you want exactly. But of course, you're not going to get exactly what you want, right? So the point is, how do you find the right person, or how do you hire someone? That can be a really hard thing, especially for an entrepreneur looking for their very, very, very first hire.
All right. So first things first, like I'm not, I haven't hired 10,000 employees, so I don't really know the ropes of it. I'm still learning. I'm yet to even fully employ like a full-time person, because I told you everybody on the team was contractual part-time.
Okay.
Like they come and go. So that's kind of what I know. I know how to get people on contractual basis. Which isn't too hard, because if a job comes and they need photography, and I know I don't necessarily have a photographer on the team, I could just go and link any freelancer and ask him like, how much are you going to charge me for this? And then I just add that to my invoice and I bill the client, right? But if you're looking to expand your team, I mean, one thing you should realize is your employee is going to follow your processes. So you have to make the processes, you have to make the checklists and what he has to do, like be as detailed as you can. And you have to be there for him. Like you have to support the employee, right? And yeah, I mean, maybe he might not get it right all the time, but then it's a cost you're willing to pay. Gary Vee said something, right? He said, as fast as he hires, that's how fast he also fires. And he hates firing people. Like he hates it, right? So he says that whenever a client, maybe he hires someone and the person in charge of a client, and then something goes wrong and the client is pissed, he tells himself that if the employee wasn't there, he wouldn't have the client in the first place. So it shouldn't worry you too much, because yeah, it happens, shit happens. So he just told the guy that, bro. Then I genuinely think you have to be there for them. Like I truly believe that you, like as a leader, you are supposed to serve. So make your employees as comfortable as they can. And when they see that you're there for them, trust, they want to kill, like they will legit kill to make sure that their project, their work is good.
Yeah. And what do you feel about hiring friends and family? Do you think that's a big no-no? Because if you want to hire and fire someone really fast and their work output isn't as great that you want, then it can be an awkward situation. So does your team or kind of avoid that, or just on a personal level, what are your opinions on that?
So I for one, I really, really work with a lot of my friends. Like most of these guys are my friends. Like most of these people I work with on the side, animators, illustrators, they are all my friends. Like I know them, probably went to high school with them or something, right? And I mean, they know. So we make it clear that this is business. Like this is business. If we're doing something for a client, we both want money. We want to like get revenue, make profit, all of that. So we have to treat it as such. So I mean, during the job, like when we're having media days, shooting clients and their businesses, like yeah, we'll be having fun, we'll be talking, but then essentially we're working. When it's deadlines, we have to hit them. And so I think making that clear from the onset is going to solve the issue. And you should be willing to, how do I say, maybe fire your friends. Like you be able to tell them that, bro, like this work wasn't good. You've done it over time. I've told you, and I'm just going to look for someone else. And you should be willing to like, you should be ready to, how do I say, like tell them and still have that friendship intact if they're good enough. But me, I'm a big fan of working with friends. Really big fan.
No, yeah, I think if you work with friends, you know, in a business, I think your work output it'll just be a lot more fun. You know what I mean? Because if you just
Yeah,
work with
exactly.
of course you can hire virtual assistants and contractors to do the job for you. But if you have a
Mm-hmm.
team and if you build a culture around your brand or business or agency, I think it makes you more willing to work. You know, of course you want to make money,
Exactly.
but just having that culture, being there with someone physically, is is entirely different. You know, and of course
Yeah.
everyone has their own methods of hiring and working. There's no one right way. It's all preference at the end of the day, to be honest.
Yeah.
Right?
That's true. That's true. That's true. I
Mm-hmm.
truly believe that. I
Now,
truly believe that.
what trends do you see in Ghana? I know we touched upon this point the very, very first time around. For
Mm-hmm.
example, you did talk about, you know, Facebook is still the largest social media platform in Ghana. But what marketing trends do you see in Ghana? So, for example, here, of course, in the US, we see TikTok,
Mm-hmm.
we see Instagram Reels, SMS marketing. These are things that I see emerging and becoming pretty much established.
That's
So, how
true.
do you see? Yeah, how do
So,
you see in Ghana?
all right. So for Ghana, I mentioned the last time that the older population, they are still hooked on Facebook, and so they spend almost all their time there, or it's Facebook and WhatsApp. That's where they spend most of their time. For the Gen Z like us in Ghana, we spend more time or the most time on Twitter. Like the Ghanaian Twitter or the Ghanaian Twitter timeline is one of the most active places you can get. So if you're looking to sell, I know most businesses, most startups, most e-commerce sites sell on Twitter organically. Like they do really well organically because I mean the ads on Twitter are priced really high in Ghana. So they do well with organic reach on Twitter. TikTok and Instagram I'll say are the next because Instagram just keeps losing a lot of Ghanaian um what the users because I mean I don't know if you saw the latest update. The latest update has gotten a lot of stick like
On
from
Instagram?
like yeah Instagram's latest update
Oh yeah.
where they put the shop at the bottom with reels yeah so it has gotten a lot of stick and I feel like if they don't like revert that or do something about it at least people are really going to like stop especially in Ghana like the usage was already going down and then now this happened so it's more or less speeding up the process but yeah I feel like TikTok and Instagram reels are on the rise because now I see more Ghanaian content creators on TikTok so I mean influencer marketing still works for Gen Z but I feel like the older gen don't necessarily know that yet right? They still spend big bucks on national television and radio and like billboards. Like they spend a lot of money on traditional marketing compared to um, social media and Google ads. They spend a lot more on that front.
Okay. And do you kind of use that as well, maybe? You know, having billboards and that type of stuff, or is it just pure social media marketing that you guys do in your team?
I mean, we have done a few billboards. We've not done any radio ads, we've not done any TV ads, but we primarily do with Gen Z. So we focus on where the attention is right now. Ads or organic content, working with influencers, all of that. That's what we do. Because I truly believe that traditional marketing for Gen Z in particular in Ghana, I don't know about if in the US it still works, which I know it doesn't. But the attention is all on the phone, like on your phone. Like it's crazy, right? And I feel like everybody has to just make that switch sooner or later, because that's where it is. And the longer you stay away from it or try to tell yourself that that's not it, you are wasting your time and money. That's what I truly believe.
So you see that trend as well. So it's not just in the US that eventually everyone's going to be on mobile using social media. Traditional marketing schemes are not going to be as well in that case. It's like billboards, radio ads, pay-per-click ads on websites maybe. So you're seeing that also dying, right? In Ghana.
You're like, you mean like pay per clicks on websites and all of that?
Like the traditional marketing, I guess. I mean, okay, maybe I shouldn't have said that. That's still modern, but billboards, radio ads, newspaper ads, stuff like.
So I feel like maybe they will not die entirely. Like maybe in the next 5 years, I mean, Ghanaians will still be listening to radio. Some will still be watching TV, but it's on the decline. And I feel like most of these big agencies in Ghana feel like it's still the ish or still the top thing to do a video, probably a 30-second ad, and pay huge amounts of money to run it on national television, especially if they are targeting young people. I feel like they should tend to spend more on social media as compared to that, but they're not. So
now let's talk about personal branding for a second. So I think
all right, sure.
We spoke about last time about how important personal branding is, because if you have you brought up the analogy, if you have two different people offering the same service or whatever, or same product, one person has a larger following base, maybe one has 10K, the other one has 100 followers. The person who has 10K has more authority, more of a say, and of course the business owner would probably like to work with that one person because they know what he or she is doing, if they know something regarding social media marketing, right, specifically. So of course you're building up your personal brand. You use a lot of carousels. What do you see about personal branding? What exactly, what works for you? What do you see, or what strategies, tactics are important here to build up a personal brand?
Okay, so personal brand is that's one thing I've learned. I've learned that personal branding has nothing to do with you, like the person being like the face. It's more or less like what you can offer and who you're helping. So before anything else, I always try to tell people that before you try to build a personal brand for yourself, you should have like something you stand for, something you do, and people who you talk to, right? So I feel like once you get that off the ground, you just have to find your medium. So you just have to find if you're good with written word, audio, video, or all of them, and then create content for those like platforms. Yeah, I think that's about it. That's like the key to it, and be consistent. I can't believe I forgot this one as well, but be honest, because bro, there are a lot of dishonest people out there, and I feel like sometimes it's just a drag. Like, we know that's not what you do on a regular day, but they want to paint this picture of influencer. He has so much money, he spends all the time, has no sad days, has no rough days, has no bad days, negative experiences, all chilling, girls, parties, investments, making money. And I mean, that's not the personal brand that I feel would have an impact on people's lives.
So in your opinion, you said it's better to follow one thing, or not one thing, but things that are really important to you or what you're working on. So for example, if you're a cook or a chef, of course you're going to post content of you cooking and you're going to be known for that. But are you saying here that it's not important to post other related content or other content that's not about cooking, but it's really focused on what your craft is here?
No, actually, I think it's the different, like it's different, right? Because I don't know if you follow me and watch my stories, but you see, if you watch my stories, I rarely talk about branding. I rarely talk about marketing. Probably doing something on my way to rehearsal. Like I play guitar, so probably going to practice and chilling with friends on Friday night and talking about something funny I saw. And maybe then a few times, like I'm going to talk about business, ask questions, get interactions, do lives and all. But I, on the contrary, I actually really think that you have to mix in all of this and genuine things that you love, right? Because I feel like people try to make pretend, like they pretend to like certain things or they pretend to not like certain things. But in hindsight, it's like this guy I know, he was asking me if he should talk about Pokemon because he really likes Pokemon. I was like, why not? Like once in a while, talk about it. Talk about how he sells Pokemon cards and maybe talk about it a bit. And I'm like, it will make you a lot more relatable to the audience, especially if they know you like something they like. Like people know I'm a Liverpool fan. And so when Liverpool loses, there was this match we lost 7-2 to Aston Villa. Pissed me off. And people were sending me posts and laughing at me and saying that see your boy, see what your boy is going to do. And I'm like at least there's a relationship, you see. It's not all business, marketing, but they should know you for you. That's what I think.
Yeah. And I think you mentioned that you like anime and you were talking about anime. And through these things, you know, I was talking to another marketer. He works on branding as well, Harry Needham. And a lot of entrepreneurs say as well. They're saying that the trend nowadays is you have a business, but you build a business around your personal brand, right? And that's because people prefer talking to a person rather than a logo. And if you post content about yourself, you can relate to a lot of people in different aspects. You don't always have to talk about business. You can talk about Liverpool. You can talk about anime. And through those connections, you could have potential warm leads, right? And that's not the ultimate goal, but I'm saying that is possible. And it makes you a lot more relatable, a lot more likable, and a lot more approachable at the end of the day, which is really important, you know?
Very true. Very true. Very true. I've had more people asking me about my business when I'm posting something of sometimes something funny I'm doing, talking about something, a comment, and then people say, wow, this guy is actually really cool, and then they swipe up and then we talk, and then they start telling me about their business problems. And I'm like, I didn't even ask, but then they feel like they know me before they even swipe up, right? And so I feel like it really does help. It really will.
Oh yeah. And you save time too, because if they know you already, they can just ask you questions. You can skip the rapport. Of course, you don't know them exactly, but you know they do save some time. You know, speaking about were you talking about swipe up ads or just?
Nah, like swipe up, like DMs on Instagram stories. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. No. Yeah. I think another marketer said it's important because you want to get straight to the point. Entrepreneurs they can be busy, and if he or she or a fan knows you and they know specific questions on business related stuff, they can ask you right away, right? So building a personal brand. I'm not gonna say it's a requirement, but it will definitely help. You know.
It will.
Because of course you have to get out of your shell of being comfortable being in front of camera, or if you don't want to be in camera, have a podcast with just audio, be a blogger. There's different forms of creating a personal brand, because actually I was just thinking that you have to be in camera in front of IG Live or TikTok every single minute, but you don't. There's different forms of it. Of course, those ways can be trendy. Of course, IG Live and TikTok can really help you blow up, but at the end of the day, you have to be comfortable to some degree. and you can just write
Yeah,
articles
exactly.
on LinkedIn, for example. I heard LinkedIn is pretty big too. Like a lot of people are growing on
Yeah,
that. It's very organic.
it's pretty big. It's pretty big.
Yeah.
Pretty big. It's like
Are there
TikTok.
are there other platforms in Ghana that are? You said Twitter. That's something that really surprises me because Twitter here, it's popular. People use it to spread news rapidly, but it's not a major platform, I think, compared to the organic reach of what like Instagram is, or TikTok,
Yeah.
LinkedIn. But you're saying that Facebook and Twitter are huge platforms in Ghana. Are there any emerging platforms in Ghana that you see coming up?
Yeah, so I don't know much. I don't know many people doing the LinkedIn content. I think I do it. I know a few, like maybe 4 or 5 guys who do it, like in the from the Ghanaian community. It's still pretty much a business kind of like looking for employees kind of vibe here. But I feel like it might switch real quick. TikTok is coming up. Like TikTok, I said it earlier that TikTok Ghanaian creators are really doing well. I know some that are really doing well. And so I think these two platforms might blow up one like eventually. And for Twitter, it's not that the organic reach is good. Like it's actually really bad. It's actually
Okay.
really bad. But the Gen Z, so like from 18 to 28 or 29-year-olds spend a lot of time on Twitter. So there are a lot of conversations going on regarding different topics. So then, like, even if when I have dead time in my like my schedule, I just open Twitter and then just talking, sending tweets to other people, just talking about various topics. And the whole, like, the timeline can just change at any time. So if you want to market on Twitter, you have to be really active and create like content for the particular topic being discussed. So I remember that there was this time last 2 weeks or last 3 weeks when we were talking about um, relationships, like heartbreak, your worst experience with like relationships and all of that. And people were sharing their relationships and all. And you could see some like companies, some food brands and things in Ghana talking about like, oh, when this customer came and like broke my heart, he didn't talk, like he didn't pay for the whole thing. And like they had like really contextual content for that conversation. And you find out that it blows up, like their tweet will blow up and have like 10K likes and all sorts of things, and essentially drive people to their page to find out what they do and probably check them out on their way home from work or something. So I think Twitter for the Gen Z and then Facebook for the older gen really work here in Ghana.
Yeah, it is crazy because one would assume that everything here, like here in the U.S. where I'm living, is going to work somewhere else. But of course, even for these large corporations, these large businesses, they can't use the cookie cutter analogy of, marketing people or their audience and here in the US and applying it somewhere else in the world because they have
Yeah,
different mindsets, different strategies, different platforms that they use, different preferences, right? And it's really
exactly.
amazing. Like if you grow your business, if you have an agency and you want to market all over the world, you have to keep in mind that other countries have different preferences that you have to really know about, right?
Exactly.
Now, Mike, I was going to ask, you working on as marketing and branding, what's your ultimate ambition? What do you want to see in the next 5 years, 5 years, and as an entrepreneur?
For my business and my for me in general.
Yeah, your business, personal development.
Yeah. Okay. So I mean, I didn't give you the backstory to why I even started this whole personal development. I mean, I said it on the other time, but let me just say again here. So in Ghana, there are not many thought leaders. Like there are not many at all in the industry that you're looking for. There are a lot of selfish. I don't even call them selfish. I mean, they're just doing their jobs, right? They're just being awesome graphic designers or awesome marketers or awesome chefs and all these things. But they don't create content. They don't try to like educate, or they are not even open for questions, and because they feel like I come to steal their secret sauce or whatever you will ask them, right? So then there was this time I actually genuinely wanted to know something. I don't even honestly remember, right? And I asked a few agencies that I really, really admire in the Ghanaian space, like marketing, branding agencies that are doing it, like they're killing it. And I asked them, send them a DM, and then they like reply me some snazzy answer like, bro, what do you want? Like, how can you ask me this? Like, that's what we do. That's our business model. And how can we share that? And some of them just right off from there, don't even ignore, like they ignore me, right? And I felt like that wasn't the way to go. Because I mean, I saw all these people. I saw Grant Cardone and Gary V. I don't know if you know Dane Walker. Like all these people doing amazing things with their content. Like they're just giving away all their gems for free to get attention, like to make sure that everybody's eyes and ears and like mind is on them at all times. And I said, let me try this out and see how well it will do in the Ghanaian space, right? So then, I mean, like in April, that's when I started creating content for our Brainstorm page, like our business page on Instagram. And growth exploded. Like people hadn't seen that before where we are. And so people were like, bro, you're teaching all this for free. Like, what's the ROI? I remember some clients asked me, like, what's the return on investment? How much do you get paid for this? And I'm telling them, like, I'm not doing anything. Like, I'm not getting anything like directly. What I'm doing is I'm building brand. So over time, people would see us as the experts in the field. And then, I mean, they would want to follow, keep up with us and all of that. So then over time, growth just exploded. We grew from like 500 followers to 7,000, all organic, no paid, no engagement groups, nothing, all organic, people sharing and commenting, liking, and then the algorithm just doing its thing by showing our content to more people. And I mean, the major challenge for me there was because it's a company, I couldn't really feel free. I couldn't add my personal bit to it, which I felt was really going to tip the scale in my favor. So I said I would start on my personal page as well, which was scary as hell. Like, bro, I was shit scared. Like, I was like, how can I do this? Like, I honestly wasn't even good in the camera. I don't know if you saw, I don't know if you've seen my first video, but bro, I was shaking. But I just recorded it. It had like 50,000 takes, and just exaggerating, but like I had so many takes, and finally came up with the 1 minute video, 1 minute 10 seconds or so. Posted that, and then it exploded. Like I think I had like 10K reviews. Hey, no, I had like 2K, and then my next video was a reel, my first reel, and it had like 10K views. I was like, okay, let's ride it and see how well it goes, right? So then I realized that there were not many people doing this in my space. Maybe now there are a few people trying to do it, come up, and so that I just want in the next 5 years to have built so much brand by giving away values, helping people grow their business, grow their personal brands, get over some fears, like genuinely become better people, and have so many people say something good about me or my business when I'm not around. Like that's my ambition. That's my ultimate ambition. And I feel like it's achievable. First thing, I feel like it's achievable. Second thing, I know it's going to crush the competitors. Because if anyone right now was to ask about marketing, branding, or anything, the chances are someone is going to mention my name. They're not going to mention the big guys because I mean, they are all there, they are doing their thing. But then they'll be like, Mike is there. Mike is enthusiastic. He's helping people. He has a good heart. And I feel like over time, this is going to crush the competition. And to be honest, I want to crush the competition. Like, is this dark kind of entrepreneurial mindset that people don't like talking about because it can actually lead you in trouble. But every entrepreneur would want to crush the competition. Like, I don't want to compete. I want to crush. Like, they see us and say that, bro, like, Mike has too much attention. When did he start? How do we get there? But then every time they think of starting, then I'm just going, keep creating content everywhere. People know my name. People know Brainstorm Africa. And if they want work, they will come to us. Like that's how bad I want it.
No, man, there's nothing wrong with crushing a competition. Of course, providing value, helping people. Something that I realized is that if you produce content at scale, and of course you can, release your business model, share it to the world, only a few people, I think, would really implement those strategies, right? And by that time, even if they know those strategies, they don't know all the nuances. You're giving them a blueprint, but that blueprint, there can be a lot of gaps because they need to experience things. You can give someone a 10-hour lecture of what to do with all that information, but there's still missing gaps that you have to experience yourself to see that success, that person, to kind of replicate those results, right? And of course, if you provide free content, rather than monetizing it, you're gonna have so much attention, and people subconsciously are gonna be like, you know what, man, this guy gave me so much value. If I ever need business in the marketing space, I'm gonna go to Mike, right? So subconsciously, they have in the back of their minds, and indirectly, you're gonna get an ROI. You can't really measure it at all, but for a fact that you're doing a good deed here. I believe in good karma, and you're gonna get something out of it, right? And of course, if you have all that attention, you can do so much with that at the end of the day.
Yeah. And I mean, if the ROI for me, you might not be able to calculate it in monetary terms. Like, I feel like that's why I started with someone saying something good about me when I'm not in the room. And I feel like that's the best way. Like, that's the least thing that could happen if you decide to lead with value-based content. Like, give away all your gems for free. Even if the person never buys from you, if the person is in a room with other people and then your name pops up, like, oh yeah, I know that guy. He really helped me out with so and so. That's one human being saying that you're a good person without you being in the room. Like, if that's the least thing that I could get from all this work, I feel like it's really, really, really worth it. It's like, bro, I feel like it is. Because it's not easy to have people say something really good about you when you're not in the room.
Oh no, yeah. It's a good feeling someone telling you, hey bro, you're awesome. But then when you hear someone saying it behind your back, saying that, oh, Mike is awesome, you have you just feel good. It's a different feeling,
It's a different feeling. And you're not going to get that if you are constantly trying to sell to people, sell to your audience. You're never going to get that, right?
Yeah. And that's another topic to talk about, I mean, we can go in depth with this too, but of course, as an entrepreneur, you want to produce as much content as possible. But of course you want to drive results. So every once in a while, I'm not saying it has to be for your personal brand. It can be for another business that you have, and you're producing all this free content. You have to know every once in a while, okay, how do I ask for business? I don't want to be spammy. I want to provide a context. I want to provide a lot of helpful, entertaining value here. But at the end of the day, we need to make money, and I do need to pitch my services somehow, some way. And I think that's totally fine. And a lot of people struggle with that because they can focus too much on branding or they can focus too much on sales, but you have to find that sweet spot too.
Yeah, right? Like I really do believe this. Like it's not like we're all just putting our content with singing kumbaya. Like it's not no. We have to put food on the table. You have to make money, right? And so if you come into my DMs with like problems, like specific problems that my content is not solving for you, I will sell to you. Like, and that's how I make sales, right? Because if like inquiries come, like people say, Mike, I'm struggling with creating content. I don't know how to do it. I've tried doing it on my own, and I'm like, sure, let's get on a Zoom call and let's talk it through. Lead, like that's a hot lead. Like she knows you, she's willing to work with you. She probably has a budget, so you just have to talk her through and listen your way into the sale. Like find out what her actual problem is, and then solve that for her. Like that's how I make my money through my social media. So like my personal page is like a funnel. Like that's where all the attention is coming in. people find out about me, make DMs, send DMs, I book calls. Some really close the deal, some can't afford, and that's fine. Like, so they go. But then nevertheless, like, it's still coming. Like, sales have to come. Like, I squeeze myself to make sales every day, like, to more or less like if it's cold calling, if it's cold DMing, or if it's even nurturing relationships to get to the sale, everything is intentional, right? Because you're running a business. It's not a party. It's not, hey,
Yeah.
let's sing kumbaya, let's just give away all our gems for free, save the world. No, bro, it's a business. It's a whole business.
Yeah, and yeah, you got to find that sweet spot, and it can be tough. That's really important here.
Yeah,
So,
tough.
Mike, I don't want to take too much of your time here, but you know what? If people want to hit you up, learn more about marketing, branding, advertisement, where can they find you?
Yeah, you can find me on Instagram and Twitter at @bmikeLawson. @bmikeLawson. I don't know if you put my link in the show notes. I don't know how you do it, but
No,
if
yeah,
you are
I'll put that
looking
in the
for
show
me,
notes.
yeah, if you're looking for me, just Mike Lawson. Send me a DM, probably on Instagram, because that's where I'm most active. And we can chat. We can chat about anything from football to anime to business. Let's talk.
All right, sounds good, bro. So I'll put that in the show notes.
Yeah.
If anyone is interested, they can click on that and hit you up. Of course, when I make the Instagram clips, I'll tag you in that as well, so they can find you there too. All right, Mike. So yeah, bro, it was a pleasure, and I'm happy that the second interview, But yeah, bro, I wanted to be honest. Like the second interview, this one, I want to talk more about tactics, not just do the same exact thing we did last time. I think last time we talked more about branding, but this time we spoke more about tactics, and I think that was cool. Yeah.
I loved it. Bro, like, thank you so much. I love what you're doing with your podcast, to be honest. I listened to a few more episodes, like in the 2-week gap, and bro, you're actually on something. I think you should be as consistent as you can, which you are being. Like, you're really consistent, and bro, like, thank you. So I really don't know what you saw in my page to come and reach out to me, but I'm really grateful to be here. And yeah, thank you so much.
Nah, man, the pleasure's all mine, bro. I really do appreciate, and it's cool to get a different perspective of what people are doing around the world. I think I mentioned this before, but the majority of the people I speak to are in the U.S. It's cool to get a different perspective on things. And I've spoken to a few people in the UK, but us run out of battery. But yeah, never really someone in Africa. I told you I have my one friend.
Yeah.
He's from Sierra Leone. He's a rapper. But nothing with entrepreneurship. He's more into music, right?
Yeah, he's more into music.
Yeah,
that's fine. Repping from Ghana.
Yeah, for sure, bro. And dude, yeah. So
Right.
I'll let you know once the podcast is uploaded, the clips. And yeah, bro. And one more thing, dude. Liverpool, they're falling like flies, yo. Everyone's getting injured.
Bro, like I'm getting a headache.
I feel bad. I hate that because we know. I said Liverpool are favorites. Okay, with Van Dijk out, I was like, okay, you know what? They're still favorites. Now with Gomez out, Henderson's kind of injured. Robertson, like, it's crazy, bro.
It's crazy. Like, I don't even like thinking about it. It just makes me pissed.
Yeah. No, yeah. I just hate watching my favorite team, like, not the strongest team out there, But you guys have to buy players. You guys have to buy players next transfer window.
We do. January, we have to buy players. We have to.
Yeah. But we'll see, bro. I think we'll see. I mean, Man City, they're struggling. Liverpool, they're like the only elite team besides, just Man City.
Yeah. Chelsea's doing well too.
Yeah, we're informed, but I'm still kind of shaky or not too convinced about our defense. But we'll see, bro.
We'll see. We'll be in touch.
All right, Mike. Take care, bro, all right? Thank you once again.
Bro, take care. Have an amazing day.
You too, bro. Take care.
All right.